Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Strap Search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here that I'm going to go through. Before I get to what I found in these, I'll start off with this week's tip. Every once in a while, well actually probably more than every once in a while going through bills, you're going to find bills with, foreign substances on them, glue. You can see these two bills were actually stuck together by, I don't even want to know what. But because of the number of bills I go through, you do happen to encounter things like this. Don't put these back in circulation, people. I can't believe I have to say that. But you're going to spend enough time going back and forth to banks. Keep these bills separate. Take them to the bank. Tell them that you found some mutilated bills. They'll take the bills and give you real currency for them, of course. And they have a spot for mutilated bills that they send back to the Federal Reserve to get these out of circulation. So if you're going to be going through bills, do your part and help get the nastiness out of circulation. You wouldn't want this bill, neither would the next person. So if you spot it, pull it, give it to the bank. They know the proper way to dispose of it. So that is this week's tip. Let's see what I found. Went through 1,000 bills, had a real good pull this week. Didn't know if this was going to show up on camera or not. My first bill might be a potential error. You see a lot of bills that have over inking on them. This 2 right here, for instance, is over inked. But if you look really close, it almost looks like it was doubled. Almost looks like that 2 was printed twice. Almost. Wasn't sure about it, so I pulled it. I'll set it aside, give it further consideration later. I found a Where's George bill. Actually, I found this was the biggest allotment of Where's George bills I found, and it was also varying. This Where's George bill was simply handwritten on the back, interme@where'sgeorge.com. Of course, I always track all these. Don't write on bills, but if somebody else already did, well, what can you do other than look them up yourself? This one was kind of neat. Stamp money out of politics. If you find this bill, let me know. And he's got a stamp there, but I can't read what it says down here. I can't make out whatever this is, so I can't even track to see what this was. So yeah, when you're sorting bills, you are going to find all kinds of interesting stuff. This just happens to be one of them. I've seen this 1 or 2 other times, sometimes on higher denomination bills. It's one of the first times I've seen it on a $1 bill. It's just too bad I can't look it up because I can't quite exactly make it out. stmpr.me/ what is that, MVON? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. But anyway, you'll find all kinds of neat stuff. I found 3 of these Where's George bills that have this airplane on them. So of course when I looked them up, all 3 came from the same person, and it was fairly local to me, so it was still neat to find 3 bills in one packet from the same user. And then I found this one here, which has a different stamp on it. So, like I said, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Where's George bills, and then a unique stamp. I found a couple quads. This one starts off with quad zeros, an extremely low number, 4,137. I did find quad 3s as well, not in as good a shape, and an even rougher shape quad 9s. Number of star notes, all of which were 2013. Feel free to look these up on the site that I showed you in a previous video. That's what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to look them all up. That one's pretty crisp. This one has some stains and some folds. Low number, but we'll see how rare it is. Another 2013 star note, nice and crisp. 2013 starting with a 0. Another 2013. So like I said, a good pull for 1,000 bills. I got quite a few star notes. This one's a little bit higher number, but if I remember right, the higher number Ks have a chance at being ultra rare. So I'm looking forward to that. Then I found a number of old bills. And when I say old, wait till you see. This is a 1999. I always pull every bill from 99 and older, because those are all 20 years old, with your average bill lasting 7 months. Finding one 20 years or older is pretty good. 1995, rough shape. This 95 is in a little bit better shape. Paper quality isn't as bad as the other one. And probably one of the better 95s of this pull. It's from Kansas City. J notes aren't very frequent. Those are fairly rare. And then I found a 1981. You don't see 81s. I have found very few 81s in circulation. This bill is rough, but it's almost in circulation 30 years. It shows every bit of that 30-year circulation wear. But nonetheless, to find a 1981 in circulation, that was pretty cool. Until, check this out, I found a 1969B. 1969B. This one is from Cleveland. It does have a couple creases in it. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. This bill's even older than I am. But to find a bill like this in circulation just shows you guys that yes, they are out there. Flip this thing over, let you see the back. Paper quality isn't the greatest, but still, 1969B. I'll be putting this in a holder if I don't need it to fill my collection. Then we get to the trinaries. 2009 trinary. This one features 1s, 4s, and 5s. One off from a binary. Another one off from a binary. This trinary is also from 2009, featuring 0s, 2s, and 9s. 2013 trinary, 0s, 1s, and 6s, also a one-off from a binary. This one is also interesting because it's a flipper. You can read it 100666606, or you can flip the bill over, and it's now 909999001. So that makes it interesting. And it's in very good shape too, very crisp paper. And the last trinary I found was all 3s, 8s, and 9s, also from 2013. Now, I spent a little bit of time on trinaries, and I decided to put them at the end rather than at the beginning, because I usually didn't find a whole lot of value in trinaries, and I wondered why people collected them. Until I went to my local coin shop this week, and I was looking through a book, and in his book he happened to have this, which is a 1934D $5 bill. I didn't have a 1934D $5 bill. I'm sure I've got a $1 bill laying around somewhere, but I didn't have a 5. So I decided I was going to pick up the 5. I mean, these go for, in decent shape, maybe $20 or so. And I like the bill. This one is a Federal Reserve note. You know that because it's green. So, it's not a silver certificate. It's not a legal tender. It's Federal Reserve. This Federal Reserve bill, as I've mentioned in other bills, you'll see on the top, does not have "In God We Trust." That wasn't put on until 1963. This one being 1934, you're not going to find "In God We Trust" on it. But the reason I brought this bill out is because he had two of these bills side by side. He had this bill, and then he had one next to it with just a random number on it. And of the two bills, I chose to buy this one. And that's when I had the epiphany moment. Given the choice, do I want a random serial number? Or do I want one that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 9s in a row, 6 9s overall, and it's technically a trinary. It's got 0s, 7s, and 9s as the only digits on there. So, without hesitation, I took this one over the bill that just had a random serial number. Now, that alone should explain why people collect trinaries, because it's something that makes the bill more interesting than just a random note. Granted, this bill, like I said, is 1934D, usually goes for about $20, but given the choice, did I want a random number, or did I want the trinary, or the 5 in a row, the 5-9 block, or as they call them, the poker bill with 6 9s. That's another, pocket poker or whatever they call it. Anyway, so my choice to buy this bill in particular over the other bill was based solely on the fact that it's a trinary and it's got 5 in a row. If he didn't have this bill, I probably would have bought the other. But because he had a regular bill and he had this bill, I found this bill more interesting. That little bit of interest, it being a trinary, it being a block, is why I purchased this bill, which means it should be easier to sell trinaries or block bills or any fancy serial number compared to just having the regular bill. So that's why I pull those, and that's why you should be pulling them too. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you learned something, hit that like button. If you find me interesting, subscribe and tell your friends. I love hearing from new followers. I love it when that subscription bell goes off, so I know that I've got a new follower. Thanks a lot, and I'll keep putting these out. See you guys soon.